Hey, what's up guys? Houston here. Look, here's a bank you definitely don't want to be sleeping on. This is Marcus by Goldman Sachs, all right? And the reason that you don't want to be sleeping on them is because of their credit cards, all right? Now, in terms of they offer two types of credit cards. They're the ones that issue the Apple card, but we're not focusing on the Apple card. We're going to be focusing on the GM credit cards, okay? And the reason we're going to be focusing on the GM credit card is because with this here GM credit card here, the personal credit card, you can actually get approved for this without a hard pull on the credit. Okay, that's the reason that you actually want to go after this card. Now, here's the thing about it. When you're trying to get funding, you always want to target your easiest financial institutions. So your easiest financial institutions is usually your Vantage Score financial institutions and then your FICO 9 scoring institutions. Now, Goldman Sachs, it is a FICO 9 scoring institution. Now, here's the interesting thing about it. With this here GM card here, they pull TransUnion FICO 9. Okay, now here's the thing about it. I would tell you if I'm going to go for this card, my average credit score, I would try to be at least around a 680. Now, here's what you can do since it is a FICO 9 scoring system. All right, you can add rent payments. You can add authorized users. Yes, they actually count authorized users on the FICO 9 scoring. Okay, so for those of you that need authorized users or don't know if you have the proper authorized users on the credit file, click the link in the description. You can add subscriptions and you can add utility payments. Okay, the reason that you want to do that, you want to build up your FICO 9 scoring. All right, and that would make it much easier to get you up to about a 680 credit score. Now, here's the thing about it. If you're trying to get 15, 20, 25, or you're trying to get even like 10,000, okay? If you're trying to get at least 10,000 from this card, the thing about it, you have to look at how old is the credit file, okay? Also, your DTI, your debt to income ratio, plays a part, okay? That's very important. Also, how many open revolving accounts you have. All right, if you can understand those three things there, then it'll make it so much easier for you to get higher limits. Now, from what I've been studying and looking at the market, usually people that have less than $100,000 income, that their credit file is usually less than 5 years old, most of the time they're hovering, approving them maybe around 5,000 or less. But people above 100,000 that has 5 or higher years of history on their credit file, they're usually getting up in the double digits. Okay, so the higher the credit score and the less inquiries, also inquiries. Now, one of the things about it with some of these institutions, they are inquiry sensitive. That's the reason I said since they pull TransUnion, then I would make sure that I have at least less than 6 inquiries in the last 6 months on my credit file in order to get a higher limit credit card with them. Okay, that's very important. Now, that being said, in reference to the business credit card, they switched the game up because on the business credit card, they actually will pull Experian FICO 9. Okay, so TransUnion FICO 9 on a personal card, they're going to pull Experian FICO 9 on the business card. Okay, and so in terms of the business, you can have a brand new business. You don't have to have a PAYDEX score. You don't need a DUNS number. You don't need net 30s. Okay, in order to get access to this card because they're going to be reflective of what's going on your FICO 9 file on the Experian. Okay, so depending on the trades and things like that. All right, now that being said, since we're focusing on FICO 9, one other institution, well, that's actually with this here, you can actually do a pre-qualify. Okay, that's the good thing about it. You can actually do a pre-qualify instead of getting that hard inquiry. Now, one thing that I want to mention, like I said, I know some of you all well. How do you get the card without the hard inquiry? When it comes to the personal credit card, what you do is, since they pull TransUnion, what you want to do is you want to pre-qualify before you lock your file. And then once you pre-qualify and they tell you how much you'll approve for, then you want to lock your file and then apply for the card. Okay, that's how you avoid, actually, because it's already in the system on a pre-qualify. And so that's how you avoid getting that hard inquiry. Okay, so that's the reason you can actually get this here card, this GM card, without a hard inquiry. All right, that being said, let's go over here to PenFed. Now, here's the thing about PenFed. All of their credit cards are pre-approval. Okay, so you can actually put your information, see which credit cards you are approved for. Now, my favorite card is this card. This is the Gold Visa card. The reason I like this card, because look here, 0 interest on purchases and balance transfers for 15 months. All right, that's the reason that I like this card. Because if I'm going to be buying things, if I'm going to be utilizing this card, so even if they give you a low limit, here's the thing about it. Say that they only give you $5,000 on this here card and 0 interest for 15 months. So for the first 90 days, and they give you a low limit, I'll try to be maxing that card out every month and making sure 3 days before the statement date, I pay the card off. For the next 90 days, that's what I want to do. The reason you want to do that, if you have a low limit credit card with them, what ends up happening after that 91 days, you can go to them. Sometimes people say 6 months, but actually you can do it in 90 days. And you can ask them if they can do a credit limit increase. And because you're actually maxing out the card and you're paying it off on time, and you're paying it off before the statement date, you have a higher chance of getting a credit limit increase much faster. Okay? Now, for the credit cards, one thing you have to know again is that they pull Equifax FICO 9 on all their credit cards. Now, when it comes to their loans, so say that you wanted to get a loan with PenFed, it's going to be Experian FICO 9. Okay, and then when it comes to their car loans, they go back to Equifax FICO 9, but their personal loans is Experian. All right, now there's one other institution that's a FICO 9, and it's usually FICO 9 Experian. Okay, but sometimes they may do an Equifax Experian, and that's Wells Fargo. All right, now here's the thing with Wells Fargo that many of you may not know. Because they are a FICO 9, you can still use those same data points I stated to you about Goldman Sachs with the rental income, with the subscriptions, the authorized users. Just be careful with your authorized users. You do not want more than 2 authorized users on the credit file. Okay? Now, also, one of the things that does help, and I'll tell you my favorite cards here, but one of the things that really does help in terms of making sure that if you have a credit file, if you don't have a bank account with them, making sure your credit file is over 5 years old. All right. Now, if you do have a bank account with them or you've been added on as an authorized user, that also, so if you have somebody like that offers authorized users for Wells Fargo, and then they have a long history and they add you on as an authorized user, this also increases your chance of approval. Okay, that's just an inside thing that I wanted you guys to know. But my best credit cards, I would say with them, is the Active Cash, okay, because it'll give you 15 months. Now, on balance transfers. And this here one is the one that I got. And here's the interesting thing about it. When I got this card, all right, They approved me, I think it was 15,000. And then I told them that I needed more money. They countered and I wanted, I think it was 30,000. They countered and they gave me 26,000. Now, here's the interesting thing about it. They're also going to give you checks where you can liquidate that balance as well. So if you actually need that cash right away, you can actually liquidate it. All right. That's the part that I like about it. You can actually liquidate this here card, and when you liquidate it, you can have them to put the money into your bank account, or you can just put the money in your pocket, do whatever you want. So say that you get a $30,000 credit card and you liquidate it, then that's your down payment on a house if you're trying to invest in real estate or something like that. But most of the time they would do, it's a FICO 9, and they're going to either pull Experian or Equifax because it just depends on the region. Now, again, if your credit file is less than 5 years old and your income is less than 100,000, I would definitely tell you you're closer to looking less than $5,000. However, if that file is usually, and if you don't have a Wells Fargo authorized user, because I have seen people with Wells Fargo authorized users on the file, and when they add the authorized Wells Fargo authorized user on the file, then even if you have a 2-year-old file with less than 100,000, then you're going above that $5,000 limit. Okay. Now, if you have any other questions about business credit funding, personal credit funding, removing negative items off of the credit, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.